Hello and welcome, guys. Thank you for choosing to listen to another episode of the Growth Winners Podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Hennigan, and listen, holy crap. I know that this episode, I promise you, in fact, I'm going to make a guarantee. I promise you that this episode is going to help so many people. It's going to be one of my best ever. I really was strategic in the notes on how I'm going to structure this episode to help as many people as possible, because I believe this is one of the most powerful lessons that we can learn in life. So just bear with me. This is going to be the most amazing thing ever. In fact, I'm so confident if you don't get value from this episode right now, listening to this, then just give me your Venmo. I'll Venmo you $100. If you can honestly sit here and listen to this and you are not completely, not just fired up, but like, holy cow, if this doesn't go right through your body and your veins and you don't feel this, I'll Venmo you $100. Like, that's how confident I am. So what we're going to be talking about today is the 3 tips to instantly redefine your true self. I have struggled with this so much in my past. I'm still battling it to this day, just to continue to push forward, but I have so much valuable advice on this topic that has allowed me to just break through for the time being in my life. And I know that there's a long road ahead of me, but holy crap, this is going to be awesome. So bear with me, get ready, sit tight, get some popcorn. We're going to talk about some really cool stuff here. But first, the Growth Winners mantra. If this is your first time listening, what we do is we repeat 3 things and to remind ourselves to be actionable. We don't just listen to this podcast and go back to our normal lives. We're taking actionable steps towards a better version of ourselves to develop mindset and habits. So here we go. Repeat after me. I am confident. I am valuable. I am a growth winner. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm just so fired up on this lesson right now. This episode's going to be huge. 3 tips to instantly redefine your true self. And I want to start by thinking about what doesn't define us. And here's the big secret to the whole thing about life, okay? We are wired to criticize. We are wired to think poor things because it's a survival tactic, right? Our brains are literally wired when we look at things, when we see things, when we analyze things, when we hear things, when we touch things. You know, that's why when you touch fire, you're very cautious because it's hot. When you see a car accident, you instantly turn because you heard a loud noise, or everything is expected the worst. Well, guess what? Your self-brain is no different. You are wired to criticize yourself, okay? So what I want to start, and it's a crazy thing to really grasp. It's going to be incredibly challenging if you haven't really thought of it this way or seen it this way, but I want you to open up your mind here, okay? Diving deeper on a more personal level, okay? Your past experiences, your relationships don't define you, okay? Your past experiences don't define you, and your mistakes that you've made in your past don't define you. Think about that. How many of you, actually I don't even have to say how many because I know that we all are. We're all guilty of making mistakes. And what I want you to do, my main point for this, is to give yourself permission to let go of these mistakes, okay? Maybe you had a drinking problem in your past and you overcame that, okay? You're not an alcoholic. You're not defined by that, okay? Maybe you invested a lot of money in a property or a business that, flopped and didn't do well and you didn't succeed. That does not define you, okay? Maybe you cheated in a relationship. Maybe you did something wrong, in your marriage or anything. That doesn't define you. Nothing we tell ourselves defines us. We don't, because again, go back to the rooted thing that I discussed. We tell ourselves, we criticize ourselves all the time, subconsciously, and most of the time we don't even know it. It's on autopilot that we're just thinking these negative thoughts because we think that these experiences in our past defines us when it doesn't, okay? That's the main point I want to make, and I'll get into 3 tips of how to redefine ourselves because it's so powerful. So we know that we don't define ourselves because we're just going to tell ourselves stuff that's not true. We believe our own self-doubt. So unless you're kind to yourself and you're actively working towards telling yourself positive things on a consistent basis, you're going to be thinking negative thoughts and not even know it. So we got to put that filter on, number 1. Number 2. Nobody else can define us, okay? No comment on Instagram from, Mike James 17 that says, you suck, or you're gonna fail, or, you're ugly, or you're fat, or you're a whore. All of these rude, gross things that people say on social media. It's bullshit. It's all noise, and I give you permission to totally just tune that out and block it out, okay? So those are people that don't matter to us, right? Like a comment on Instagram, comment on Facebook, that doesn't define us anyways. We already know that, and hopefully you know that. And if you don't, please, comments in the comments section don't define who you are. However, let's get a little more intimate here. Let's get more personal. How about your spouse, your friends, your parents, okay? Nobody, I don't care how close they are, Nobody can define who you are for you. Okay, that's the number one thing you have to understand here outside of what we already discussed. Okay, it's all noise. Okay, and I've wasted years allowing others to define me simply by what they have said to me or what I, have assumed. And there's only one thing that trumped all of it, and I'm going to get to that. That's what this all comes down to. But I love my wife, and she does not define me. Trust me, that's not where I'm going with this, but I'm referring to others who have a spouse or a very, very close best friend or even your parents, okay? And they don't support you in your most burning passion and desire. They might say, of course I support you, man, but be careful because, okay? That doesn't define you. That's protective advice, and you got to filter that stuff out, okay? They don't define you. Nobody else can define you, and your own self-doubt doesn't define you. So let's talk about moving forward, the only thing that can define you. The only thing in your life that can define you is what you do next, okay? Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, and we know that. That's one of those cliche, quotes that everybody knows is talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, right? Like, take that to heart right now, is talk is cheap. Whether it's your own voice in your head or it's other people's opinions about you, it's all cheap. It means nothing. It's weightless. There's no value. Give it zero value, okay? And stay focused on who you want to become. Block everything else out, everything, specifically the past experiences. You failed, you fucked up, you made mistakes. We all have. I demand you to give yourself permission to let go of that right now, please. And even if you don't do it for yourself, do it for me right now, because I want to get this point across, because I cannot waste another single second allowing outside forces to define me, outside opinions, outside negativity, and it's the environment that you surround yourself around. And especially, check this out, if others don't believe in you and you're allowing others to define you, that is like the outer bubble, right? And then there's that second layer that, okay, the outside world is I'm allowing them to define me, and now it creates the inner self, that your self-talk is now influenced by other people's opinions. So then it creates that trickling effect to level 2, which is your own self-doubt. So now you're just surrounded in this huge negative bubble, and it's double walled. It's got 2 layers. It's the outside world and it's the inner self, all negative, dwelling on things that you've done in your past and dwelling on missing opportunities of the future simply by dwelling on this negative, environment, emotion, thoughts, actions, everything, okay? So it kind of seems like it's going to be impossible to break through that, because it's all you've ever known. It's all you've ever heard. It's all you've ever thought. It's all you've ever felt. So that's what you get, right? Well, the only thing that can trump all of that is what you do next, okay? If you want to be successful, if you want to be happy, if you want to have a great marriage, well, guess what? The only thing that matters, nothing in your past. You could have cheated on your wife yesterday. Nothing in your past can define you. The only way to instantly redefine yourself is to focus on what you're doing next. So here we go. Here's the 3 tips to instantly redefine your true self. With everything that I just discussed, here we go into 3 tips. Number 1. You must, and this is step 1, consider these as 3 steps. Number 1, you must give yourself permission to move forward and believe that your past and others don't define you. That's the number 1 step, because if you don't truly believe it in your heart, in your mind, and everything's flowing in sync, if you don't believe it, you're going to fall right back to listening to others and listening to yourself. Again, be kind to yourself, okay? So the number 1 thing is you have to embrace the past. You have got to, okay? Like I said, where I've wasted years allowing others to define me and allowing my own self, limiting beliefs to define me, I still to this day catch myself. Like, I talk about mindset and habits. I don't talk about these things like I've made it, like I'm not still working on them myself. I'm just inviting others along to listen into the experiences that I've had and to provide the value that I've learned through this process of breaking through limiting beliefs and identifying, the true self and moving towards something, okay? So you must give yourself permission. If you don't, then I give you permission. I give you permission right now, right this second. I give you permission to completely let go of everything that you've allowed to define who you are in the past, so that you can now move forward and relieve that stress, relieve that negative energy from your body. Just detox it like you're, rehydrating after a hangover or something. Re-energize your entire life simply by doing the easiest step ever, is to open up and give yourself permission. to move forward. Step number 2 and tip number 2 is to get creative and intimate with who you want to become. Here's the cool part. This is the best part about life. It's honestly one of my favorite parts about life. I love this word create, okay? Creation. Create to me is to make something, right? Like you have to think about what you're going to create. So to me, when you're creating something as powerful as your future, as powerful as what you want to believe in, what your core values are, who you are, like that's like the coolest thing that you can create in the world, because it's all self-made, right? We're all self-made. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a doctor, a nurse, a parent, a deadbeat at home, we're all created this way, right? We've all created who we are. Well, now we're moving towards redefining. So in order to redefine, we have to create. And this is the most exciting part of all, that you get to literally right now think of this limited version of yourself. How much money do you make? How much time do you have on the weekends to spend with your family? How much time during the week do you have to spend with your family? What stresses you out? Bury it. What makes you happy? Move towards it, okay? Split the road and start getting serious about your own self-happiness to where you don't have limits. What car do you want to drive? What house do you want to live in? Okay, what do you want to eat for dinner tonight? Eat anything you want. What I'm getting at is to start building up this limitless version of yourself. When I say limitless, I mean literally, why can't you have anything that you've ever wanted? If you want a great marriage and you want the things in life that you're moving towards, then why not go out and get it, okay? Create it and move towards it. Kind of just blew the last step. Number 3, and tip number 3, is start moving towards this better and limitless version of yourself, okay? All your decisions, all your actions, all your thoughts, everything must be in line with this better version of yourself. And when you think about that, when you wake up tomorrow, or when you end this podcast, when this podcast ends, and you make a decision to do A or you do B, ask yourself, is this in alignment with who I want to become? Okay? Let's go back to the couple of mistakes that we've made in our past. Cheating on your partner, cheating on your spouse, or, drinking and driving. Those two, okay? The 2 pretty common mistakes. Are you going to cheat on your spouse? Well, is it in alignment with who you want to become? Do you want to be a great partner? Because if you want to you want to create yourself into becoming a great partner, because it doesn't matter what you've done. It matters what you're doing next. That is the only thing that can redefine us, is what we do next. So maybe you've never known about any of these mistakes. Maybe you're at this point in your life, you just, it's all on autopilot right now, and you feel like your life is spiraling out of control. You feel like you have no control over your decisions or what you're doing. You're working this job that you hate because it's something you've always done it anyways, so why not? Well, if you want to start the business, you want to make movements towards this future self, then start creating it right now. Give yourself permission, identify and create, and get super, super laser focused on who you want to become, and then start moving forward towards that, okay? That is, it's something that I focus on all the time, and truly, it's helped me so much just making all of my decisions and actions and thoughts and everything that I'm doing and experiencing in life. I'm forgiving myself for the mistakes that I've made, and I'm so laser focused on this better and limitless version of myself. It's helped me so much, and I can only hope that it really helps you too. So, here's what I want you to do. The episode challenge is to find a mirror, place your hand over your heart, and I'm actually going to do it with you right now. I know I'm not in front of a mirror, but I can see myself on the screen recording. Find a mirror, place your hand on your heart, and repeat, "My past and others don't define me. What I do moving forward defines me, and I'm committed to becoming a better and limitless version of myself." If you have to rewind this and go back to replay it, but I'm serious, guys. Take action on the things that you want. I promise you, living with regret is 10 times more expensive than just taking action right now on the things that you truly do want in life. You get one damn life. Please, I implore you. Okay, so that's a wrap. That's hopefully some fire for you. Hope you enjoy that. Hope you got a lot of value out of that. If you did, like, share, comment, all the engagement stuff. I don't even like promoting, to tell you to do stuff. It's up to you. It's your choice right now to like, share, follow, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It would really, really mean a lot to me just to get some feedback. And if you did get some value, even if you didn't, throw a comment down there. Let me know. Let me know your negative thoughts. I could use some haters right now because, hey, it doesn't define me. But anyways, repeat after me. I am confident. I am valuable. I am a growth winner. Thank you guys so much for choosing to listen to another episode of the Growth Winners podcast. I will talk to you later. Peace.